My worst, let me tell you, this is my worst childhood memory.
What?
And this, when you meet my family, and you will,
Yeah.
you will understand, but this helps people understand me maybe. My worst childhood memory was, so I wasn't planning on telling the story, so I didn't even think it out through my head. So this may take longer. If I trail, make sure to bring me
Okay.
back.
I can't wait to hear.
So me and I was the youngest. My older sisters were at least 10 years older than me. And so I was at home and we had a sunroom and we would sit behind the couch and we were giggling like schoolgirls because our dad kept telling us to be quiet while he was eating. He was such a loud eater. He would eat celery and you would hear it. He's watching a baseball game. And like, why do you have to hear a baseball game, right? So me and my sister are in the living room and my mama was in the kitchen. She was reading her book and our house was good size and fairly open, so you could hear everything, and our mom of course was paying attention to everything. She didn't miss nothing. And daddy was in the living room watching a show. Anyway, he's eating a celery and all you can hear is the baseball going, and then like you just heard that. And then we were just giggling, having a good time. And he was getting upset with us. He's like, I can't hear my show. And it's like, he's so loud with this salary. Like, so then we got so tickled. And we were behind the couch, of course, because heaven forbid we go into our rooms, which had all the toys there, whatever. But
boring.
I don't know why. But anyway, so daddy got mad and he was like, if you girls go somewhere else. Daddy gets mad, comes up. Now, this is important if you can lean in, because I know, like, lean in to show me, because I want to show you how forcefully he grabbed me, just so the media knows. Like, everybody needs to know. So he grabs me by the arm like this. See how forceful that is? Yeah. And barely says, you're going to your room if you're not going to behave. So he grabs me like this. I go limp, like, oh, I'm screaming bloody murder. My mama is in the kitchen. I can hear her going, what are you? And she says his name. What are you doing to her? And I'm just wailing about, bloody murder. And my dad is trying to pull me as best he can because I'm not going. And I was a little chunk. So he's trying to pull me. My mama is screaming bloody murder with me because she's like, doesn't know what's happening. And so I finally got drugged to the room and stomped away and went in there. And of course, mama, I didn't have to stay in my room for very long, but that is my worst childhood memory. That family wise, like, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I had a rough childhood in school. Like, I was a chunky nerd with acne and 7 strands of hair. So I just everything was not happening with me. But in my family's eyes, that's the worst family thing that happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah. And
you spoiled little princess.
Whole
I love it.
Thing lasted that amount of time probably to tell that story. Like, and then I did not have to stay in my room, which in fact was a paradise. I had everything in there, for God's sake. So that didn't even make any sense, but I didn't stay there in there long. And I am quite certain the little shit that I was, I probably walked right back in. My sister would probably remember this. Probably walked right back in, grabbed a piece of that celery, and started jumping again. Just probably doing a little dance because, man, I was shit.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So that kind of sums up my.
You are definitely childhood. The baby. So, what is the most memorable or interesting BDSM fetish event that you have ever attended?
That would be right off the bat thinking would probably be one of my first kink events that I went to. Very memorable. Of course, your first is memorable for many reasons, but I was so nervous. I was new to this relatively. So this was, gosh, 6 years ago, I believe. It's 2023. Yeah, I'll have to do the math and put that in. But I was so nervous. I drank back then. I hadn't discovered weed yet. So I slammed 3 apple orchards as fast as I could in the parking lot. Like, and I got 2 down and like took I stood out there for a long time. And because it was very nerve-wracking, like, and you don't know what you're going to see. And since I was new, while I am open-minded, I was still, you don't know what you're going to see. And so I drank those as fast as I could, and then we walk up to the house and open the door. Or no, actually on the walk up, I see a pony and a chariot.
Oh.
And in the yard, and it had just like it was going back and forth to and from the parking lot and bringing people to the party. And it was a person inside of a horse costume. They were a human horse. And
right.
So that was the chariot. Then we go inside and they take your money and you go in. You pay for a donation, I think is what it was. I was probably drunk at this time. Remember, I slammed the 2 drinks in the parking lot.
It's already hit.
Yeah. So I don't even remember. You pay, and it goes to whatever shelter or charity that they are promoting. And so we walked in, and there were people were dressed up in all kinds of different things that I was used to seeing, and then things that I wasn't used to seeing, such as someone dressed up as a horse. There were probably 3 or 4 of them, and watching them have sex like horses in their outfit was very interesting. That's very memorable. There are many things that I see that I don't forget. That is definitely one of them. And I'm glad that, like, I was so excited to see all these things. Like, at the time, I was just like, I never even thought of that. Like, it was just mind blowing at the different things that I had seen at this party that I had never even thought of. And to me, that goes back to, it's amazing to me that people know what brings them pleasure. And so what I used to, as I was growing up, thought odd or shocking or these other adjectives that you could throw in there are instead, I think they're amazing because I'm 45 years old and I still don't know a lot of those things that bring me pleasure. I'm still discovering them, and they find these things and that's it. Like, that's what they're done discovering. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that can be a good or a bad thing. I'm sure they still keep discovering, but and they had a auction where everybody dressed up in different outfits as different characters. You could be and you auctioned off your time, and again, this went to the charity, and anybody could say no, and it was all that good stuff. Everything was covered liability wise, like everything's fine. And it was just like a service, like they were coming to clean your house. Like if you wanted to have so and so dressed up as a maid, and so they were dressed up in their outfits. Each person was, and they had a little podium. That's what it called, with a microphone, and the podium was It was a stand up one, and it was empty, and they had someone in there giving the auctioneer a blowjob. Like, yes, she was dressed up as Monica Lewinsky,
I love
and
it.
the auctioneer was dressed up as Bill.
Oh my goodness.
So, and they auctioned off maid services. They auctioned off people to be led around, like with a collar, where you'd be dom, where they auctioned off whipping sessions where you could whip them, or if they were a dom, then they whip you. Worship sessions, like anything that they wanted to offer, they auctioned that off, and all of the proceeds went again to whatever charity.
A good cause.
Yeah. And it was just a really fun time, and it was very interesting and shocking, but I guess not in a bad way. They had glory hole rooms, yeah, like little places set up. It was so awesome, and they lived this life. Upstairs, they had just a huge bed in one of the rooms, and everything was an open door policy. If you're going in that room, that door stays open. That does not mean, of course, that everyone can join in.
Right.
That means that everyone is welcome to watch, and they have rooms that we will not speak of because those are your not favorite things to talk about.
Thank you.
And they have suspension rooms.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, where you can hang someone from there. They had like a sex swing. What else? Medical room, which is what happens with the stuff that we're not going to mention.
Yep.
A porn room where they just had porn playing. Maybe they didn't have a swing room. Maybe that's what I'm thinking, because that's what we're having in our room. Did they have one? Okay. Okay. They had a bunch of paddles, because these people live their everyday life. So when you walk in their room, their home, there's paddles. It's a BDSM room whenever you first come in.
So do you think we should bring them on the show?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's very memorable. And that, to me, from that time, it was a great experience, because it was like, I needed to see this. I was afraid, and because I didn't know any better, but it was a great environment to learn it in, because they were very knowledgeable on this. They had professionals that were there. Everything was on the up and up, which made me feel very safe, because that's an environment you have got to feel safe at. There's
Definitely.
too many things happening. And if there's any cause for alarm, everything just about shuts down. It's like, oh, nope. Getting that vibe back is hard, right? So you have to feel safe. They had other rooms, other things there, and I can't think of it.
Waterboarding? Was there sensory deprivation?
No, but that's good. I'm glad. Where's that notepad
Worship
again?
room?
I need that notepad. That was kind of more like the sex room. But they had these set up, and then they had area where you can sit and watch, like, and talk. So, but whenever they did the auction, that was the most amazing thing to me, because they had all of these people of different looks, whether it be how they dressed or how their ethnicity, their hair, everybody was just different.
Yeah.
And everybody brought money to not so much buy these services, but to give to this charity. And these ladies and gentlemen were doing whatever they were doing for all this, and everybody was coming together, and it was just so much fun, and the energy there. And you had people dressed up in next to nothing.
Yeah.
With butt plugs,
Mm-hmm.
or bondage gear. You had people dressed in rope, and they were offering rope. Yeah, shibari. They were offering the rope play.
Shibari.
They were offering. What else were they offering? The one that brought the most money, but I was wanting to save that for the end, but I gotta talk about it because this was just mind blowing to me, because I saw all these outfits and they were all great and unique, and everybody was paying different prices for these different services. And I don't even remember what this woman was offering. I just remember her look, and I remember the amount of money that she went for.
Money, huh? So,
and what do you, like, right off the top of your head, knowing that, what would you think? And you, as a viewer, like, you think, like, if you're going to this kink party, what do you think would bring this person, this look brought, I think it was 3 times the amount of everybody else. Was it? Yeah. And they had all kinds of different, they had like a Disney, they had some characters.
Yeah.
You know, like Jasmine, like,
so she was a specific character, not just like pro dom or.
It was a dominant. It was, but well, I guess it was kind of dominant. I don't even know exactly how to describe it without being misleading. Like, if I were playing 20, we can play 25 questions,
Yeah,
20 questions, but it's like, I don't know how to, because it's not, I never would have imagined. But.
Okay, tell us.
Mary Poppins.
Mary freaking Poppins. Because she has a bag full of tricks. I
want to say she was probably 55, maybe 60. But she had let her hair all go gray. It was very long. She had it in a bun and very matronly. And then the outfit was, she had the umbrella.
Wow.
The corset and the little glasses, the little bonnet.
I love it.
Very much. And everyone went wild for her. Yeah, like, I'm not for sure exactly what her service was, but it was great. Like, the
crowd was just going crazy.
And it was like, man. And so telling you that story now, I'm like, huh. So mommy dom. Yeah, because definitely. And I do get a lot of requests for that, but that brought the most, and that gave the most traffic, and that's mind-blowing to me.
Oh yeah,
people like what they like. And she was a bigger boned. She was a BBW.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell much. Like, you couldn't see a booty or anything. Oh, you could see it. She was popping. That corset had her popping up, but you couldn't see the bustle from the back. So.
Yeah.
But I love the cause. I love what they were giving it to. And
that's amazing. I would love to we should do a party someday.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
I got that notebook in there. I got a whole notebook full of little ideas, because I have taken these things that I've learned along the way.
We'll talk to Stacy and we'll put together something good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that'd be so much fun. Because then we can like advertise it and make it a good cause and make it something that's a lot of fun and a good cause. I love that.
All my causes go to any kind of donation of any sort.
Yes.
It's always for the animals, like especially spay and neuter programs.
Yes.
It's like, man, you need to be educated on that. Spay and neuter your animals, like, because we're breeding them. And
I know.
They're just out there.
I know. Well, I have so many friends that want to have a, pedigree name brand.
I know, it makes me so sad. I die a little inside.
I tell them all, I tell them all, I'm like, just go to a rescue for that specific breed.
Yeah.
You know, don't be a dickhead. You don't need to have like a baby dog that's bred from this mother, from this litter.
Well, and people don't know that there's so many out there, like in the shelters or different rescue kind of things, because a lot of them come from puppy mills. People are just uneducated.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I understand some people want specific dogs for specific things. And I do understand that. And look, I don't shame anybody. It just breaks my heart a little.
I'll shame the fuck out of them.
Well, see, I figure everybody does what they want to do. And it's like, they just don't know. And I get it. Like, for certain things, they need certain dogs.
Well,
I do understand that.
For this crowd, all right, just so you know, any breed you want, unless it's some, you know, Malamute, I don't know. I say that correctly. I know
there's
Malamute.
There's lots of different.
Yeah, but there's literally a rescue for all of these breeds. I'm not going to say it's always easy because
it's a lot of legwork.
Two of my closest friends have a Yorkie and they want to have like another Yorkie, and it's not always easy finding another Yorkie at a rescue. Or like my daughter and I tried to adopt a pug, and it wasn't an easy thing. There is DFW Pug Rescue.
You have to have time. It's one of those things. It's like, look, you got to put the word out, and you have to continually look until you find that. If you want a certain kind, then, but they do, they definitely have resources available to people if they would just do that. And then whenever they do have animals, spay and neuter them. It's like,
well, okay. So away from dogs and cats, would you be interested? Maybe we can take the show on the road one day. Would you be interested in going to a pig rescue?
Yeah.
Me too. I want to go so bad.
Yeah, I will go to, if it's
local.
I'm pretty sure my demise, like I had a hat one time that said I'm going to die by petting an animal. Like, I don't even know what that is. Like, that's how, like something to be like, oh, hello, little baby.
Turns out you can't hug little baby calves. I tried. They're our size. They probably weigh as much as we do or close to it, depending on their age. I tried. I was like, hey, come here, buddy. I got bucked. I'm like, well, you're a little asshole, but I still want to pet you.
Oh, they were just confused with their feelings.
Me too. I was so confused. Like, I just want to love you. Come on.
Yeah, like I'm a sucker for animals. Like, I'm a sucker for children and people and older people. Like, I'm a sucker for that. But like, man, they have a lot of charities, but I don't hear a lot of people give the animals a voice. I'm like,
there's Central Pig Rescue that's local. So Central Pig Rescue is located in Bastrop, and
let's plug them all. Let's plug them all.
We're gonna plug them. So they are located in Bastrop, and they literally take, like, people don't understand that mini pigs are not a thing. There's not really such a thing as a mini pig, and if you get a mini pig, that poor pig has been starved to death. And if they are not dead yet, they will have serious problems because
I did not know any of this.
The breeders starve them and keep them on a restricted diet so they stay skinny. And it's just not healthy for them. So they start having...
are awful.
Yeah, they start having like liver failure and, kidney failure. And yeah. I'll punch a bitch. I'm sorry. But anyway... We'll take the show on the road one day. Yeah. Maybe we'll visit like a local store and check out their adult products, and then also go see some animals.
Oh, I would volunteer at an animal shelter. Like, once I get all of this house, like all of this stuff going, like, because that's what I know I need to do. I also want a kitty.
Oh, yes.
A cat.
Oh, you can rescue a bunch of those.
I know. Well, we had two that I was so hopeful that they were gonna. Yeah, they didn't pick me, but they wandered. They liked you, though. Oh, I loved them. They wandered up our driveway, and so I fed them and loved them for a little bit. But that's okay. They needed somebody else, I guess.
They were on a road trip. They just stopped by for some refreshments and to say hi to the nice lady, and then they're like,
one of them somebody's gonna pick me one day.
Oh yeah,
I know it.
Well, my business partner and his wife have a lot of cats, so like I can probably sneak one over. Nobody will notice.
I love the cuddly cats that
I got the perfect cat for you then.
Oh my gosh. I wear it as a scarf.
Oh,
like,
yes.
I want to be around them all the time. Like, I love dogs too, but they're too much work. I'm not home enough. Like,
really, I feel like it's
much.
opposite. I guess it depends.
No, cats are so easy.
Everybody's like, oh, I'm a dog person. I'm a cat person. I'm both. Dog, cat,
I love them
pigs,
both. Like,
cows.
I'm actually a sloth person, but I didn't realize I was a cat person until it's like they're so easy.
Yeah.
And once you realize they're like, I didn't realize their little quirks mean things. Like, but it makes sense. Yeah. Whenever we got the cat that we have now, my husband did all of this research. He is the ultimate cat daddy.
Love it.
And did all of this research to find out. And I used to always think like, well, of course animals are afraid of humans. Like, why wouldn't they be? We're huge to them, right? And they don't know what we're going to do. And they've seen some crazy things happen. And so they never know whenever we're going to go crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so whenever you meet a new animal, they never know. So of course they're cautious. They have to feel your energy and get used to you. And so the more that I'm learning about that and are realizing the cat that we have grew up watching cat TV, because whenever we adopted him, he had a brother and they were wild. They were feral.
Oh, yeah.
And so they hadn't been around any other cats and only been fed through like slot in an attic. They were taken from one bad situation to another. The rescue was trying to do good, right? So they took them. They were babies in a dumpster that were tied up in a sack. They didn't even have their eyes open. So they got them out of the dumpster in Laredo, brought them here. So they took them from one terrible situation. They didn't have a mom. No, didn't have their eyes open. Didn't know how to be cats. They got them, put them in a attic, and had no human interaction. So they didn't really know how to be around humans. They didn't know how to be around other cats. Like, I'm not for sure how they were fed them. They were around another mama cat for a little bit. I don't remember that really. No, he doesn't either.
They're probably bottle fed.
Well, no, because they didn't have human interaction.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, but they got them before their eyes were open, but they didn't have a mama cat, and there were no other cats up in there. So, but they didn't really know how to be cats. And so I've learned immensely from them. But anyway, he researched how to acclimate them and get them to us, because they were just petrified. They did not go to the bathroom for 3 days. They didn't eat, drink, nothing. They stayed in this small little crate. It was so sad. And their eyes would be like as big as saucers.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, so afraid of us. And we'd be like, oh, come here, little baby. We just want to love you. Like, but they wouldn't eat, drink, go to the bathroom, nothing. It was so sad. So he researched it and watched cat TV.
Yes.
And so put that on a little iPad for them. And then we would both go in there every day and lay down with them.
Yeah.
And not with them, because we couldn't they would be on the other side. But we wanted them to get used to our scent. Yeah. And then he bought them all these toys. I'm so cheap. I did not want to buy any of them. I was like, look, I've got a feather in the craft room. Let me find it. We'll tie it to a string and a stick. Woo, here's your toy.
I mean, that's what they do.
But he bought them all these little toys, like with this extendable little pointer thing, which makes me feel like a teacher, which in the last segment, I wanted to be that. So here's my
full
pointer.
Dreams come true.
Oh, they do. And my husband made it.
He is pretty awesome.
So we were trying to like play with that, trying to do catnip and those little, what's that?
The scratch pads?
Yeah, scratch pads, trying to do that and get to know them. And so it was just crazy, like learning about them. And they finally now coming around. They told us that this cat would never, they're like, well, it's part Siamese, and since it's never been around humans, it may never like humans. And if it does, since it's part Siamese and it's got strong Siamese, like when you look at it, it's probably only going to bond with maybe one or two.
Yeah.
But since it's feral, it's probably not going to do that either. You can never take them outside. They will probably not know how to play, like nothing. And so we're like, oh, okay. Like, like, well, how do we do this? Like,
so where do we keep the prisoner?
Yeah, so we didn't really even know how to do any of this. So my husband kept researching all of this, and we kept doing these little things, and sure enough, it would get them acclimated to us and got to where they would love us and be like, Jackson Galaxy helped a lot tremendously. And so he would tell me these little hints and tips. It was on YouTube. You would have to watch YouTube.
I have to watch it.
To help you with the cats and to understand them. And boy, it's amazing. I have learned so much from this curious little cat. I watch him, and everything to him is just, ooh, ooh, ooh. And it's like, oh, this is my cat. Like, 'cause that's the way that I am. It's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like all of yes, everything is new and exciting. And so, and learning, and I keep telling him, I'll be like, it's okay, buddy. Like, it's okay. You can do it. Like, I'm right here. And then I'll be like, oh, well, that's interesting, because that goes back to, I have so many people behind me that it's like, it's okay, Blaize. I'm right here. Keep going. Keep going. And it's like, so I keep doing those little adventures, like, ooh, ooh,
yes,
ooh, at each step. So I feel like my cat has taught me in that regard, and it's like, I don't have to be afraid.
Yeah.
So
it's so sweet.
I love animals teach us so much, and if people would take the time to understand them, it's like, man, they have so much to
people
give.
would take time to understand people.